I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with
The FIFA World Cup is one of the most popular sporting events in the world. For 30 years in a row, Coca Cola has been one of the main sponsors. For the image of good sportsmanship and fair play, no price seems too high. But how well does Coke's image measure up to the business practices of this global player?
It's your Heimspiel. Make it real. Coca Cola.
The FIFA World Cup 2006 in Germany. For the fans who don't have tickets to get into the stadium, there are official FIFA fan festivals outside. For security reasons, fans are not allowed to bring their own drinks. There are strict and necessary security checks at the entrance. But once they get in, the fans who don't want alcohol have only one choice. It's always Coca Cola.
No tonic water, no bitter lemon, no
Whether it's Sprite, Fanta, Bon Aqua or Powerade, all of these brands belong to Coke. They are the only soft drinks available at the official FIFA events. As one of the main sponsors, Coca-Cola can dictate the rules. They decide what fans drink and at what price.
And what does it taste like?
Very good.
Do you like Coke?
I love Coke.
No matter which team wins today, Coca-Cola is already guaranteed victory. The company profits from the image of sportsmanship and fairness associated with this world event. For Germany, it's a home game. The soft drink giant from Atlanta is at home everywhere. Reinhard Leitow and Heiko Müller are here to cheer on their team. For these two former Coca-Cola colleagues, the message of fairness sounds like mockery.
I only trust this company as long as we sit together and negotiate. From my experience from the last 15 years, I learned that the major aim was to reduce Coca-Cola's workforce. There was no year where the company didn't fire some of its workers.
Despite their feelings about the company, if they don't want alcohol today, they can only enjoy the drink they once helped to produce. A hobby filmer, Reinhard Leitow, documented the workers' struggle of his former colleagues in Stralsund. Seven Coca-Cola plants in eastern Germany have been closed. About 2,000 jobs were lost in a region where Coca-Cola received at least 10 million euros from government coffers for investing. What Coca-Cola's strategy in eastern Germany was, we don't know. What we do know is that the people who were made redundant feel deceived.
As far as I'm concerned, it was a political decision to close the factory, and they pursued it with all means. In the end, they succeeded. This is a trend nowadays with globalization. The aim is to centralize the bottling plants and to employ as few workers as possible. More and more people get fired. The only objective is to raise the profit of the shareholders.
The empty Coca-Cola plant in Stralsund is all that remains of the generous government subsidies. Coca-Cola just wanted to get their hands on the money, is what Bernhard Ludwig thinks.
This used to be the production center. On this side, the sugar was delivered. It was a brand new hall.
For this factory alone, Coca-Cola received a 3.5 million euro investment incentive from the German taxpayer. For that, they had to promise to stay for at least 10 years. The time had hardly passed when Coca-Cola was already moving on. The workers were left behind in an empty factory hall.
It's still painful for me to pass by the empty hall or when I see the Coca-Cola lorries. And it's even worse when I watch Coca-Cola spots. The brand just makes me wonder why they didn't stay here.
Warum ist es hier nicht weitergegangen?
It's your Heimspiel. Make it real. Coca Cola.
For the World Cup, Coca-Cola has even gone back to producing the old tin can, which the German government fought hard to get rid of. All the environmental arguments against the cans that led to a promise by the drinks industry to phase them out have been conveniently forgotten. More than 11 million Coke cans have been produced almost entirely by machines, especially for the World Cup. To get the message out that Coca-Cola is a good sport, the company hosted a nationwide competition offering free World Cup tickets to the winners. Coca-Cola's way of giving something back to the fans and promoting their drinks all in one. Especially their little-known table water, Bon Aqua.
Do you drink Coke?
Not so much, only with whiskey.
Do you like Bon Aqua?
Yeah, it's okay, and the lift is fine as well.
But one can drink it.
Well, it's drinkable.
And the taste is okay?
It's too fizzy.
Do you know that's only tap water and no mineral water?
No, I didn't know.
Bon Aqua is the only drinking water available at the World Cup. Time and again, Coca-Cola has been plagued by scandals surrounding their water from the tap.
Dasani.
A big fiasco was the table water Dasani. It was meant to take the British market by storm, but then laboratories found high levels of bromine in the water. The fault lay with Britain's antiquated water system. Dasani and its advertising spot disappeared overnight, not just in England, but also in Germany.
Un producto de The Coca Cola Company.
Also in countries like India, Coca-Cola wants to take over the water market by force. But a strong protest movement has already formed here. Coca-Cola is producing soft drinks in over 70 factories. It has been accused of pollution many times, especially in the regions with water shortages. The soft drink giant has built one of its biggest factories in the Indian desert, in the state of Rajasthan. The region is suffering a severe drought, and that makes the problem of water pollution even worse, is what the protesters claim. This farmer leads the campaign against Coca-Cola in Rajasthan.
This Coca-Cola, the water table is from 10 to 15 or 20 feet below. And they are mixing 4 insecticides. One is, I can say, is 4 pesticide is DDT, linden, chloropyrifos, and malathion.
Scientific studies here have repeatedly found toxic pesticides in Coca-Cola bottles. The company itself admits that the pesticide residues are above European standards. The Indian government has forced Coca-Cola to test their product on a daily basis, but often the toxic residue can't be filtered out of the groundwater. To produce a 0.33-litre bottle of Coca-Cola, you need a whole litre of water, Water in India is almost free of charge by law, even where it is scarce. The company's profit margins are huge. Coca-Cola's enormous water consumption has forced Indian farmers to take to the streets. Coca-Cola is a water thief. Pepsi-Cola is a water thief. Nandahl Master is the leader of a big protest movement against the soft drink manufacturers in northern India. Their goal is to get Coca-Cola out of the region and out of India.
We don't need this company here. Coca-Cola is cheating us, so let's fight against this company together. Since 1999 there have been protests. We are non-violent. We just want this factory to close. Coca-Cola is using up millions of liters of clean drinking water every day here. The groundwater level has gone down more than 60 meters. They just pour their wastewater out into our fields, and thereby they destroy our harvest.
These people are fighting for their existence. They are running out of drinking water. They don't want Coke or Pepsi, they just want water. Mehangin-Dinj is one of the biggest bottling plants in India. During peak season in the dry period, 600 small Coke bottles are filled here every minute. That's about 500 million liters of drinking water each year for this factory alone. The plant uses 1 whole liter of water to fill each bottle of Coca-Cola. And that in a region that reaches temperatures of 47 degrees centigrade in the summertime. In the past, they used to grow rice here. There was enough water for irrigating the fields, but now it's impossible to grow grain. The water level has sunk so far that only bushes and trees with long roots survive. The well is almost out of water. After a long working life, this farmer has nothing left.
The Coca-Cola factory opened up in 1998, and it has ruined my life. I had rice and wheat. I was a rich farmer. Now I have to work as a farm laborer far away from home.
To survive, he collects rainwater. 3 buckets a day is all he has, like many people who live close to the factories. This group of locals has walked over 200 kilometers through the countryside. It's not just about the factory, but about who owns the water. Not only in the village of Mehangin-Dinj are the wells empty, but also in some 20 villages and towns in the region. The water level is going down in villages more than 3 kilometers away from here. Thousands of people are afraid of running out of drinking water. The Indian government invited Coca-Cola to invest here. They protect the factory with a heavy police presence. Urmila Viskama is a teacher from the region. She is also drawn into the confrontation. The peaceful march of farmers ends with aggression. Urmila was brutally beaten and arrested. She sat in jail with 40 other women for 6 days. She has bruises from the beatings she received and her knee is broken.
The men were forbidden to go near the factory a long time ago already. I went there with some 300 women, and as we approached the barricade, which they have set up around the factory, the police started to beat us with sticks, although we have the right to demonstrate.
Every morning, Urmila faces the same problem. When she goes to the well to get water, she has to lower the bucket further down. And this, although the village is more than 3 kilometers away from the Coca-Cola plant, with its huge industrial water well. Urmila can't cook with this dirty water. She has to go far to get clean drinking water.
This factory has not brought progress to our region. It is of no use to us. We were happy when they first came. We thought it's good that they invest in the countryside. But for years now we have watched them waste our water. That's no progress. Now we left here as beggars and losers, and soon there will be many more people like us. This is not the way forward for India. We can't afford to lose our water.
Urmila's village, Mehangindinj, in the heart of India, is just a few kilometers away from Mother Ganga, the Hindu name for the holy river. For the first time in the history of the village, all castes are equally affected, whether they be patels, rich farmers and landowners, or musharas, simple farm workers. The villagers trust Urmila. Her real job is to convince the women to send their children, including the girls, to school. She was married at 15 and has 3 daughters. Urmila succeeded in getting an education. She wants the same for all the children in the village. Today, 90% of villagers send their sons and daughters to school. That was Urmila's work, a big achievement for the local women. But now she has turned their focus to the water problem. Wherever she goes these days, she sees the same dilemma. Tap water is in short supply. But it's this free water from the state that the people here rely on. Voodoo magic won't help either. The fire under the tap is meant to create a vacuum to suck the water upwards, but nothing happens, not a single drop. Once the symbols of progress, these new taps and water pipes have become useless. The harvest has shrunk by more than 40% because the fields are not being irrigated properly. Hardly anyone can afford Coca-Cola. A small bottle costs 20 euro cent. Urmila earns 20 euros in a month. This cool soft drink is only for special occasions and well-earning managers. One of them is Rajiv Singh, a Coca Cola representative. Urmila meets him in front of the factory.
You invited us to the factory to see for ourselves that you are not taking too much water and that everything is in order. You wanted us to see your environmentally friendly plant, and when we came, you wouldn't let us in.
We are not responsible for your shortage of water. It is not worth you talking to the soft drink manufacturers. Our factories use very little water. There are simply too many people living here who are wasteful with water. We are not the problem.
It's not worth me talking about the water problem to the local Coca-Cola people from Varanasi. The manager from Delhi, Kalyan Ranjan, he is responsible.
Urmila and her fellow villagers stay firm. They keep a 24-hour vigil outside the factory gate. Nandahl demands that the company at least close during the hot summer months when people need more water. Just recently, Kalyan Ranjan, the spokesperson of Coca-Cola in Delhi, came to the tent.
We have asked a high-ranking official whether our water use is okay. And I can even give you figures to prove how much water we use. You want to produce 4 times as much here, like in Caladera. In 2 weeks, we'll use as much water as we do in 1 whole year. And it's getting more and more. That's not true. We will use rainwater.
The people want to see the factory for themselves to find out what's really going on.
We want to film and take pictures. We want an investigation to prove how much water is being stolen here. Not just to see the parts of the factory they want us to see.
But Coca-Cola won't allow this. Nobody is allowed to film here freely. These pictures were supplied by Coca-Cola itself. The company has only a few thousand permanent staff in India. Only they get the government minimum wage of €1.20 for an 8-hour shift. The vast majority of Coca-Cola's staff in India are day laborers and contract workers who make far less money than that. All they get is 50 cents to €1 for 12 hours of work. They have no social security and no workers' representation. In front of one of the factories, we see this man. He can hardly walk. But he comes here every day, although they turn him away every time. He wants compensation for his broken leg. It is the result of an accident at work.
मशीन के पास खड़ा था ये बोतलें जैसे बन रही थी ना
I was working on the bottling machine at Coca Cola. Suddenly a bottle got stuck and I tried to pull it out. In that moment the machine started up again and I was dragged onto the conveyor belt. The machine dragged me along for quite a bit, and my leg was injured and my ankle broken. Since then, I have not been allowed to enter the factory.
Nobody is allowed near the factory. It is surrounded by barbed wire. All efforts to start a workers' union have been suppressed.
When we wanted to found a union, they bribed the authorities so that we could not fulfill the requirements. All we wanted was for Coca-Cola to respect Indians' labor law. We organized a sit-down protest. The next day, they fired all workers from this region.
Till today, the people of Mehangindinj are waiting for compensation from the company for stealing their land and their water. Although a high court has already ruled in their favor, the peaceful protesters are still being driven away by force. Coca-Cola is continuing with its expansion policy unchanged. The latest plant has just opened in the south, and the people there fear the same problems. People in the West are not meant to associate scenes like in India with Coca-Cola. Company managers want nothing to conflict with the sporty, happy image they have paid so much for.
It's your Heimspiel. Make it real. Coca-Cola.
Exactly how much the company pays is a well-kept secret. One thing is certain, it's a good deal for both FIFA and its sponsors.
Coca-Cola has the image of being a drink for active people, for refreshment, for special achievement and for a team experience. That's why our goal with the Football World Cup is a general goal to be there for the people, to be there for the fans, for sport and everywhere where people have fun and want refreshment and want to share an experience, they will always find Coca Cola.
Etwas gemeinsam zu erleben, werden sie auch Coca Cola finden.
The best wine in Germany comes from Unterfranken, and that's I bring with me, and I drink it before I entrance, and so I don't need to buy anything here.
So you don't need to pay the high prices, right?
I don't want to pay money that's in the end the FIFA earns, you know?
Sepp Blatter is the head of football's world governing body. He's the man in charge of the sponsorship deals and all the arrangements with the host nation.
After all, this is about the image of one of the most famous countries in the world. If they host a World Cup with a huge scandal, then they would have a lasting impact all over the world.
In the run-up to the event, many journalists question FIFA's conditions, such as refusing to pay tax to the host nation.
That is how you see it, if you want to call it blackmail. It was an agreement which was part of our public tender, which was accepted if you call it blackmail. Then I need not comment further. I'm not prepared to answer any more questions on this issue.
Many questions remain open, but for Sepp Blatter, the show must go on. No time for critical questions. At the FIFA festival in Hamburg, the fans have lost their respect for the organization's boss.
Did you see that only soft drinks from Coca Cola are allowed here?
Yeah, our team didn't play very well, but we have Coca Cola and Budweiser, so the United States is well represented.
Can you understand that some Germans dislike it?
Yeah. Pech.
So, all over, even if you lose the game, you win.
Yeah. We business-wise, we do okay. On the soccer field, not very good.
Thanks a lot.
The next World Cup will be in Africa. It's already set to break new records in terms of sponsorship deals. Main sponsors are rumored to have bid 100 million euros. But by far the biggest financial contribution will still come from the taxpayers of the host nation. No matter who wins the Football World Cup, no matter which country hosts the event, the real winner is always Coca Cola.